You guys ready for this one?
Let's do it.
Yes, I am. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters,
This is a journey into sound.
the fattest, funkiest tunes in town.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name's Elaine Adams. Some people call me Stock Mom, and I'd like to welcome you to the Stockhouse U pre-market show. When I designed this show, I wanted to make something that I would have liked to hear as a trader first thing in the morning. And I'll be honest, this is my favorite show, and I hope that soon it'll be yours. We do top-down analysis, and in all the charts I talk about, I'll be talking about them on a daily chart. We go over futures. We look at the indices, ETFs, individual stocks. We talk about news. We talk about our trades, good and bad. And we talk about trading psychology. If you want to talk or add something to our conversation, you're more than welcome on stage. We're not financial advisors. We're just a group of friends. And we won't tell you how to trade, but we can help you understand why we're taking our trades. I'm joined by some of my favorite people, and without them, this show would have been nothing. Vanessa, Liv, Christopher, Shivam, Daniel, Kit, welcome. We normally start things off with a quote, so I'll start it off and then we'll go down the list. Everybody can introduce themselves and also give their quote of the day. Mine comes from the 48 Laws of Power. So the quote is, do not accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. Incorporate dramatic devices into your public gestures and actions. Your power will be enhanced and your character will seem larger than life. Now, the 48 Laws of Power does employ some mentality of manipulation that I don't really aspire to. However, the idea of creating the person that you wanted to be, the idea of not letting yourself be defined, I think we've all dealt with some level of that. And being the master of your own image is something that we can do and create on a daily basis. I call that intentions. And I'm setting intentions today to be the best trader that I possibly can. Anybody else have a quote?
I have one. Okay, guys, and it's really not a quote because I'm going off the top of my head. But when you become like the giver, you have the control of what you get. Or when you, oh fuck, I should not be going over the head. Okay, let someone else go first. Let me find it.
I got you, Ness. Good morning, everybody. When you master your mind and your deep unconscious abilities, you will move ahead faster and achieve more in a shorter period of time than perhaps you could even imagine today. That's Brian Tracy.
I have one too. Mine is, if you focus on results, you will never change. If you focus on change, you will get results, by Jack Dixon. Hopefully this week you guys all have a wonderful trading, and I hope that you don't just, like it said, focus on getting green. I hope that you guys still focus on changing and mastering the ways that you guys trade, that you stick to your discipline, and you don't let it sway you emotionally. Hopefully like I said, you guys take profit every day, and have a wonderful week.
Okay. All right. So when you become the taker, you can only get what the giver gives you. But when you become the giver, you have control of everything. And I know like sometimes people want call outs or whatever it is in life. But if you put yourself in a position where you have control of it, you can have whatever you want and you're essentially the giver. It's so much better than being the taker who can only get what the giver gives.
So I have one, and it kind of matches to investing in everything in one way, more in a metaphoric way. Always be yourself and have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and try to duplicate it. Stands true for the portfolio as well. This was by no other than Bruce Lee.
I will have one. It's basically saying unlearn survival and learn to thrive. It's the one thing we're never taught, but the one thing that keeps us sustained. So hopefully everyone thrives today.
That's a hitter, kid. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on. I don't want to run out of time. We actually have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So just kidding. Let's talk about the damn futures already, you guys. First off, it's so crazy. Me and Chris were just arguing about this before in our pre-market meeting, which I need you all to know that actually it does happen. And he's so excited for the reopen trades, and so am I in a lot of ways. But as I'm looking at the futures right now, I'm not into it. I don't like this at all. Coming over to our NASDAQ futures. Okay, so I always talk about the difference between a bullish and a bearish retracement. And what does that look like to you? Now, one of my key indicators of a more bearish retracement is when I start to see the moving averages cross. I'm watching the 9-day cross the 50. I'm watching the 20-day cross the 50. I'm looking at the 50 start to curl over, because that recovery we had wasn't as big of a recovery as I think everybody wanted it to be. I mean, and me being one of them. As I'm looking at our key levels here, we're having what's called like an inside day, right? And when you're looking for a big bullish move, you want to see some sort of engulfing bullish candle that shows that people are really excited to hop in the market, spend that stimmy turner, and get us into the green. And when I see an inside day like this, that's not even breaking over the 13,000 level on our futures, on the NASDAQ futures, it's gotten me looking to the downside. Now, I could immediately become bullish if we start to tick up, and I'll be looking to our techs and some of our consumer cyclical trades. I don't know if you guys are in the alumni section. You've seen I have a fairly robust list of reopening plays that I'm looking for, and I don't think that that's going to change. However, on a daily basis, I still think we should definitely just be aware. And like Liv said, I mean, this is a pretty choppy market. I don't want to leave things on the table right now. So for me, I'd like to see us stay over this 12,800 level on our NASDAQ futures. And if we break below that, I'll be looking towards the downside. 12,600, I think, would be my next step. And on the upside here, I'd love to see us hold over 13, if I'm going to be honest. We closed at 12,900. 12,924 on Friday, and we're sitting at 12,917 right now. So it's 0.04% difference, right? Like that's not a big difference, but that's not a roaring start to a green Monday either. Now, moving over to our S&P 500 futures. Sort of a similar story going on. We're at a different place in the chart, however. On the S&P 500 futures, we're banging up against all-time highs and taking a little bit of a price rejection. Once again, so, you know, the break over 3,935, we closed at 3,932 on Friday. We're sitting at 3,931, right? We're just slightly down on our futures. And we're sitting at all-time highs. I'm starting to expect a pullback. You know, there's either one of two things kind of happen. Well, there's only three ways that this can go. Either we're going to break through with volume and have some momentum moving into the day. We're going to get rejected, take a little bit of a pullback and a retracement and start to build up some support, or we're going to trade sideways. Now, we tend not to trade sideways when we're sitting at a resistance level. So I'm either looking for more up or down right now. And then once again, this is more of an inside day where we're not really engulfing any of our previous days as of yet, but the day is just starting. Moving over to our Russell futures, this is something that I didn't like to see either, to be honest. And we've been trading in a range between 2,200 and 2,300 for a while now. We closed on Friday at 23.34. Sorry, 23.48, and now we're sitting at 23.34. So once again, something that, I mean, looked like it was breaking out on the Russells, on the Russell index. And all of a sudden, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback starting. And this is all under 1%, right? This isn't the biggest, worst thing. It could still take green. But I'm just kind of aware right now that we're sitting at all-time highs, and we're going to need some volume. We're going to need some momentum to continue this uptrend. Going over real quick to our oil futures and materials as well. We have crude oil down first thing, sitting at 65 right now. Not much of a change. We have copper. Sorry. We have copper. Also net up, I guess, on the day. Both gold, silver also up on the day. And Brent crude oil, which actually hit 70 over the weekend. It's something I was going to talk about in our news section. China had some good economic news, and so Brent crude oil actually took a little bit of an upturn. And we're wanting to see if Western Texas Intermediate is also going to follow suit, and then natural gas down for the day. Anybody else looking at futures with me? How do you feel about this, Shivam?
Hey, I'm so sorry. I was on mute. Okay, all the earliest indications are, for me personally, a choppy day for my portfolio. That's how I'm going to look at it, because the future has been all over the place. It's been moving. I know we are not in news section, but a couple of news are coming out from the White House, which are definitely making this more on the reddish side. And don't forget, this is the week where we have the OPEC quadruple witching. Mostly these things, if they affect on the later half of the week. But as we are looking, we had kind of an extended run last week, which wasn't that good. Like, it was green, but it wasn't like dark green the way I like it personally. So I feel this could be a choppy day. S&P 500 for me personally right now, it's not looking strong. Definitely need a lot of volume here. Nasdaq, honestly, I right now, till this correlation between the algos and Nasdaq does not go away, I'm going to be a bit perturbed with it.
I totally feel you. And yeah, we'll talk about Biden and his tax plan. AR, you had something to say about the futures, man?
Hey, what's going on, family?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So yeah, we're seeing the same levels from last week, and literally, this thing's probably taken us on an emotional roller coaster. But in terms of like, actual numbers, it hasn't really gone anywhere. So I still have the levels 395.17, which was the high last week, and another resistance level of 394.17. So, that's really just a point. So I am looking for price to visit that spread, that 1 point spread. And, overall on like my 2 hour chart from a short-term standpoint, I personally feel comfortable having a short-term short bias. Because in this case, it would be a double top, right, on my 2 hour chart. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, just a short bias. I don't know what the rest of the week's going to be, but it's something that works into my strategies right now in terms of shorting this.
Then just so everybody's clear, he's talking about the SPY ETF, which represents the S&P 500. And so we're going to get into that a little bit more later on as well. We kind of have a bunch of different segments that we do on this show. Oh, sorry, Liv. My bad. What do you see in the futures, bro?
Oh no, I was gonna agree with Shabam. I'm like partially excited as Chris. Like everything that I wanted went up, But then at the same time, I'm still aware of the quad witching this Friday, so I'm on my tippy toes. If not right now, I'm just gonna take profit this morning and then watch the market. At the end of the day, I'll check on it because I don't want to get anxiety and have an emotional roller coaster today. So
No, I feel that. In our morning argument, me and Chris were saying like, what people just got stimulus. What are they going to spend it on? And that really is indeed the question, right? You know what? When I looked at like pre-market movers, I saw a lot of the meme stocks running. It was like that. Maybe that's what people are spending their stimulus on, meme stocks. In which case, I guess I'm not going to get much benefit out of it because I refuse to touch single one of those joints. Um,
if I could respond to that, I was honestly believing the sentiment that Bitcoin would have been like 70K today because I thought everyone would have just poured money into it. But I'm a little worried about its retracement that it's doing. So we'll see. Unless people are taking profits, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally we have a section called Trash Trade. Someday we have a section called Treat Yourself. But on Mondays, this section is called. Oh my God, I hope this is the right soundbite.
Welcome to the number one pre-market.
Nope. Anyways, it's called Buy the Dip. So right now we're still looking at a lot of stocks down on discount. I think we are all looking and pacing over our reopening trades. And I'd love to know what stocks you guys are looking at right now for the dip. I'll start it off. So I've been looking at some education plays as we continue to see vaccinations go up. I expect that schools in some sort of hybrid form of learning will reopen. In-person training is going to be a thing. And at the same time, online education is always going to be a component that schools are going to be bringing in because it saves them money and allows them to reach a larger student base, which means they'll have access to more funding, right? So a company I'm looking at is ticker TAL. TAL Education Group. And what they do is they offer after-school tutoring programs for primary and secondary school students. It's a Chinese company, and they also have an online platform where they provide the same thing in basically every single subject. Right now, this thing is on a complete discount. I don't know. I want to say almost 30% from where it was 3 weeks ago. So if we can continue to have this reopening energy, I continue to hear good world news about reopening. I would love to buy this dip. What other dips are you guys looking at?
For me, at the end of the day, I'm just looking on dips on most of my medical plays. I would like to get a little bit of a dip on Disney as well because I really think they're primed to have a crazy run with all that they're releasing.
Do you think Disney is going to give you a dip?
I would just I mean, I already have some investments right now with them, but I would like a little bit of a better entry. I'm assuming it's going to be choppy enough that I might get a little discount today.
Disney's going to the moon. Christopher, what are you looking for on a dip, man?
I got a couple of long-term plays that I really like at the levels that they are now. I'm looking at Logitech under 100. I just think we're way under that all-time high that it hit of 120. And that was my target originally for that at the end of COVID was $150. And so I'm gonna take Logitech under 100 on a long-term play. I'm also liking Neo where it's at now after that but after they got listed in China. So I'm looking to trade them up to 50 long term.
Who else has a dip buy? I'd love to hear your dip buys.
So I'm looking at three plays. One is Nanix, and oh my goodness, I'm forgetting its symbol. Give me 1 second. Yeah, NNOX, sorry. So I'm looking at Nanix. FDA approval should be coming in soon. A couple of leaked news which were there last week or a week before which could be true, could not be true, but at $47, still I feel it's a steal. I've seen this thing go till 100. I personally got into it at 31, 32. I'm gonna average up at 47, but I feel like it's like the Fed approval should the FD approval should help it. The second one, which I'm looking at, is Nano Dimension and NDM, which is the other one I feel is currently priced at a good area. Its high was 17.31. Currently, it's around the 10, 11 range overall, which is good for me. And the third one, which I am definitely planning on getting on, is adding some long-term leaves to my existing PLTR positions, because PLTR for me is already the biggest position. It breaks my fundamental rule of having that 10% thing. It's actually 11.8% for me overall. But I'm gonna add to the leaves because I feel the premium on those is like a steal for me. So that's what I'm gonna do.
I really like that. I don't trade medical stocks, but I've been looking at NNOX too. They make this new type of it's like a 3D imaging and also an X-ray machine. It looks like it's much smaller than any of the ones that I've seen personally. They didn't get rejected for their FDA approval. We have seen it run up to 90. I'm super into that one too, Shivam. And if I don't know, I'm starting to even understand the sector. I'm with you. I really like that trade. And I'm also into NNDM. I just wanted to add that Desktop Metal has earnings on Friday, and it's kind of another 3D printing play, and they also are on a dip, and I'd love to see them over 24. They're sitting at 21 right now. The all-time high has been 34.8, so I'm with you on buying 3D printing sector dips.
Hey, Elaine, now what was that first one you mentioned? XO?
No, NNOX.
NNOX. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because you call it Nanex and then the symbol is NNOX. Now, this is the one which is like kind of a riddle for my brain. I don't know why.
Anybody else have a dip that they're looking at right now?
Morning, everyone. I'm looking at energy this week, so I think I'm gonna be watching ET, and also I want to see if I can hop back in Ford and American Airlines as well. And let me see, I'm missing something, but those for the most part. But I would like to, learn more about the energy sector. So hopefully I find some more plays there.
Yeah, that's a big one. Ford just had the largest recall ever happen as well, and I'm a full disclosure, I'm a long-term Ford holder at this point. But they just had a fairly large recall, and also their battery manufacturer SK Innovations. They do have a 4-year, like they're only allowed to bring batteries into the U.S. for the next 4 years. They have a 10-year ban for a copyright infringement that they did. So I don't know. I'm interested. I'm holding Ford, but I'm also kind of paying attention to what's going on right now. GM's looking very minty if you're looking at your car stocks as well. But I don't want to just drop tickers without saying stuff. I think we have time for one more. So who wants? Kristen, good morning. Welcome to the stage. What would you buy on the dip today?
Thank you. So I'm heavy into looking at the oil tanker industry. Tickers there are TNK, DSSI, NAT, just to name a few. I don't know where everyone else is in the world, but my gas prices are going up, and so obviously somebody's moving that gas to and fro. So really, long-term bullish on that industry in and of itself, and those tickers in particular.
Interesting. Yeah, trading oil and gas is such a specialized thing. We talk about crude oil and Brent oil futures every morning, but some of the deeper parts about how the oil industry works, especially with supply and demand, it just is something to really try to dive deep on and figure out. So yeah, we're waiting on another OPEC meeting coming up fairly soon, and I too am really looking forward to see what they say about drilling restrictions and raising their guidance for supply. Jacob, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just jumped up here this morning. I listen to you guys every morning, but I just wanted to make a quick rebuttal to the DM earnings. They're supposed to be releasing those this morning.
They actually missed on revenue and EPS. both.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop back to the audience. I thought I heard you say that they're doing it Friday, but I haven't caught it yet.
No, you're right. I wrote Friday next to my notes for some reason, but I also knew that, like, I also read the earnings statement. So, no, thank you, Jacob. You're dead right, man. You're welcome to hang out. It's all good.
All right. They missed though.
They missed. It was hold on, let me make sure I'm right. It was 18 cents on EPS and 1.5 million on revenue. Yeah, it was a miss. They're still up in pre-market though. Go figure. Anybody else? I'll grant one more.
I will say that Ford is almost at its 52-week high, so just to put that out there to you.
Yeah, I mean, these are the times when I kind of want to take profit. I don't know. I'm not really sure how the price is going to react to that recall. And I don't know. I have questions. I need to figure it out right now. With that said, let's do a quick refresh and we'll move into the news and we'll talk about some more sector stuff and get it going. So here we go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first place every morning you should stop to get your stock market news. That's right, I'm talking about the morning show presented by Stockhouse University. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. This is a conversation amongst friends that love talking about stocks and want to improve our profitability by coming here every day, talking about the market, relevant news, and how we're going to use that information to be profitable. We think education should be accessible and affordable to everyone, so we have a free Discord that has tons of resources and over 1,800 amazing members at all different skill levels that are also talking about the market, and they're trying to grow as well. We also do free classes on Sundays, and we would love it if you would join that community and contribute, because together we are so much more powerful than we are individually. Invite your friends, invite your family. Let's all create opportunities for generational wealth. Also, if you like the conversations that we have here, make sure to click the greenhouse on the top and join the community. We'd love to continue the conversations, and we would love it if you guys would contribute every time we're on stage, not just in the Stockhouse U family. Thank you.
S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, where all the old money stashed at. Bet you ain't no Square on Cash App. Stop, name an asset that could match.
Right on time. Good morning, Santino. You know I love playing that song as a bumper. And
good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. So this is a great time to talk about SPY. Who's looking at SPY with me? I think that who was it? AR. AR started off talking about SPY, and I just want you to know, AR, I'm fully in agreement. I see this double top you're talking about. We can call it a triple top, even, to be honest. And I'm seeing a price rejection. I'd love to see us hold over 395. That's been the level. That's what I'm looking at as well. I keep seeing us get rejected from this, and so once again, as we sit at 394, I mean, I'm looking for the downside. We've been trading in this range, right? And it's been 391 to 394 is kind of our inside range right now. I'd love to see a break to one direction or the other, or alternatively, I'd love to see us at least continue to establish that 391 support level. And if we sit here for a little while, I'm okay with that too. But doing the 391, breaking under 390, down to 387, down to 378, which was the low that we hit like the last 2 weeks ago or something like that. These are things that give me the sense of larger amounts of volatility, and it really spells, you know, looking for a larger pullback. It spells fear in the market. I'd love to see us show some trust, show some support. I don't know if we're going to get that while we have the market so closely tied to the bond yields right now, and the NASDAQ just swinging fairly heavily. As we know, we've been told to expect rising bond yields. So it's just like Shabam said, I don't understand why there's just this immediate sell-off every time we tick over 1.5 or 1.6% on the 10-year. I mean, they've told us we're looking towards 2%, right? So I expect that to happen. But with that said, looking at the price action related to that, yeah, it still has been a fairly choppy market. So if we can hold over 395, I will be looking for that next leg up. If we can bounce and hold support on 391, I'll be looking for the 394 trade, and that makes trading SPY easy, right? Trading in a range is easy. I'm into it. If we break below, I'll be looking for 387 and then 385 as it goes, but I'll also be expecting larger amounts of volatility because we will have seen lower highs and lower lows at the same time, which is, you know, a very bearish sign. So I really like to see us set higher highs and higher lows, if anything. That's sort of what I'm looking at. Anybody else looking at SPY with me?
So if 385 breaks, right, it goes below 385 or 387, I'm personally ready. I'm like mentally ready for 378 levels. And the reason is because we saw this trend last time, right? The 10-point swing in SPY, which is huge swing. It's not small, but in these current volumes, these current trends, and the way high frequency trading is working, we are used to now of seeing these 10-point swings. And whatever I'm seeing in the futures right now, I'm just not confident it's going to break the 395 and go up. It's more like where it can go to 387, 385, maybe rest for a couple of days, and then go below before jumping higher. That's my personal take on it. Maybe I'm a bit bearish today, but and maybe it's probably because of the news, which we're going to discuss in the next segment. But yeah, I'm just a bit bearish today.
You're not alone, man. I wanted to be so bullish, and I woke up and looked at the charts, and I was like, I'm not. This is not making me feel good at all. What the hell is this? And then, like, arguing with Chris because it's like it could go either way. We can't really call it, but I'm not excited. I'm going to be extremely careful today. Who else is looking at SPY with me?
Hey, I was looking at it too, and overall it's in an uptrend, like you were saying, Elaine. There is a double top up there. I see that. I like it to pull back to the 391, like you said. I will play it on the upside after that. But overall, we have Fed Chair Powell going to speak this week in regards to inflation. There could be a rate hike this week. And I think that would be a major catalyst to either send the SPY upward or send it downward. Unfortunately, there's no technical setup to be able to know what Powell's going to say. But I think that could be a major catalyst that gives the SPY some sense of direction for us.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Moving over to the Qs, I don't look at the Qs enough. It's because I trade these leveraged ETFs and don't really take it all in, but we can talk about the Qs as well. I think that's kind of an interesting storyline and sort of clears up some things. So the Qs, QQQ is the index that represents the NASDAQ. And for this, or it's the ETF that represents the NASDAQ. And for this, I have a fairly, I want to see us hold over the 317 level. I'm once again seeing a bit of a bearish retracement where we're watching our 9-day and our 20-day cross over the 50. I'm looking at the 50 kind of start to curl over a little bit. And when I watch these moving averages cross, this is sort of what I note to be the bearish side of things, right? I want my 9-day moving average to continue to uptrend. Even if we take a slight pullback and we continue to bounce up, our shorter term moving averages aren't going to react. However, once we have this prolonged downturn, once we have this moment where they start to curl over and then cross over each other, this is giving us more and more bearish signs. But with that said, if we can hold over this 317 level and start to form a support again, I would love that. We have basically been rejected in our past day. And once again, as we gap down and sort of open up, trying to move into that, where are we sitting right now? We closed yesterday at 315.40. Closed on Friday at 315.46. In the pre, we're sitting at 315.58. So once again, just these key levels that we'd love to see establish some level of support. Previously, it was a resistance. I had this drawn as a supply zone. And I'm sort of wondering if that's going to be validated as well. Anybody else looking at Qs or SPY with us?
Yeah, so I was definitely, good morning to you all. Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning, Reverend.
Definitely just keeping track of the price movement as far as pre-market going into the open. Looking at the increased value as it goes into the open, and just like you said, being cautious, sticking to the plan, seeing how this works out, and then going with the trend.
Yep, absolutely. So with that said, let's kind of move over to the news, and we'll get a lot of news off. There's a lot of stuff going on today. Number one, I think we can talk about the tax hike. I don't know, Shivam. Well, what are you seeing about this?
So, I personally have a bit bearish case for this particular tax hike because there are two ends to it, right? Like, we are going to take the money to some extent, and we're going to put it back in put it back into the hands of people with jobs, new opportunities, new avenues. Infrastructure bill is the overall crux of the situation. However, and definitely there's going to be a broadening of the overall balance sheet, which means the market should be good in long run. But before all those byproducts happen, the con is that you will have to raise those taxes, right? You might raise those taxes maybe by the next cycle itself. It could be a cyclical corporate tax, which is done just for a couple of industries. It could be overall, and it could be some wealth taxes, which are already very high in terms of, if you include California, the state of Washington, state of New York, if you include their own state taxes as well. Now, what generally we have seen is the financial sector, something like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America, or if you look into some industries like aviation, airlines, they are fine with this, right? But the big players which comes in terms of Amazon, Lockheed Martin, you look at Tesla, you look at Facebook, Microsoft, they don't like this. They are not used to this. And this is set to be the biggest tax increase since 1993. I feel market, especially S&P 500, is not going to react well to this news if there's any kind of affirmation of this particular plan, or if Biden calls it an action at the earliest possible. If he gives a 100-day or 200-day timeline on this, we might see good amount of retractment in this entire S&P 500 game.
I just can't. I'm totally with you, man. So some of the key points in here are raising the corporate tax rate from 28 to 28% from 21%, paring back tax preferences for pass-through businesses, kind of like LLCs or partnerships, which I have an LLC and I definitely use it for tax reasons. Raising the income tax rate on individuals earning more than $400,000, which not me, not worried, but once again, expanding estate taxes reach, and then higher capital gains tax for individuals earning at least $1 million. I think this could have a huge effect on the market and market sentiment. A lot of this stuff is going to specifically affect traders and investors. So yeah, I think this is something definitely to be concerned about as we're looking forward into. I mean, we all want to see what they're going to do with the CARES Act, and I know that renewable energy, some of our EV plays are going to take a huge boom. We'll probably see building materials as well kind of go up as they're going to continue to build an infrastructure for these EVs and other things like that. But the money had to come from somewhere. Janet Yellen's been talking about it for a while now. And so we could see a fairly decent reaction to this news. Also, Jerome Powell is speaking again. And the last time people, what do they call him? It's like sometimes he's caddish and sometimes he's money printer Jay Powell. And very recently, he's definitely been, talking about the Fed not really having a lot of impact on what's going on. He's been talking about inflation, that this is what they're planning for. They're going to let this happen. So I don't know that we're going to get the money printer speech that we all want. GE, so just in some other smaller things real quick, GE's had their their price target raised. A lot of banks and analysts like that they're simplifying their business plan. You all know that I've kind of been talking about GE a lot as an industrial stock that I'm sort of into, and they're just simplifying their business and trying to make it understandable and show where the revenue is going to come from. Brent oil prices were up over the weekend, and specifically, I think it was related to Chinese economic outlook, showing that they had more demand. GRWG, Grow Generation, they just acquired a company called Charquire, which does I don't know if you've ever seen peat moss growing rocks for if you grow plants. Well, they have something, but it's made out of coconuts, and apparently it's going to add $15 million in revenue per year to their whole revenue. So I'm kind of into that. GRWG is one of my favorite marijuana plays. Everybody's been talking about the Stripe IPO, which is an IPO I am actually really interested in, specifically because of Stripe's business plan. They're doing another fundraising round at a $95 billion valuation, making it the most valuable startup right now. Bitcoin, there's news that India might ban Bitcoin. That was a big part of the pullback that happened this weekend. And that spells a humongous situation. If they actually do, it will start to set the stage for the US maybe having some sort of harsher tone against Bitcoin and other nations. I mean, India is one of our emerging powers. And so I'm very, very, very anxiously watching what happens there. We've seen a ton of corporate adoption. I don't know that it'll be the same, but once again, I mean, this is the dance. This is the risk that you take when you hold something like Bitcoin. We don't know how these other governments are going to react to it and how that's going to affect overall price. Anybody else have any news that you're looking at right now? And if not, we'll get to our watch list.
Yeah, so I was definitely watching the reemergence of COVID out in Europe, seeing how that was one of the primary sources where we received the virus. So just keeping track with that and how the European market slows, especially Asia, Europe before market opens in the U.S. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Anybody else? Any news? Christopher, is there any news that you're looking at for the day, man?
I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth between it being in the Matrix right now. So I'm looking at SOS. We've been talking about Bitcoin plays. Bitcoin plays. I'm sorry. So we've got SOS installs the second batch of 5,000 cryptocurrency miners and gives the first quarter mining projections. Also, Riot Blockchain produced 179 newly mined Bitcoin in February. So I'm checking out Bitcoin plays as they're running at the same time, and that's some news that came up along the way.
I love it. Love to hear it. Yeah, Bitcoin is at a fairly crucial point as well. Anybody else?
Yeah, just to add to the point of India, right? Like, it's crazy. The thing is that the government in India is planning on bringing their own crypto or digital wallet, whatever the stuff they're trying to do. But these are the kind of moves which allow other emerging countries, right, to take a stance and purely against the free market right now. But yeah, let's see how this goes.
Quick point to that, Siobhan. The digital dollar is being worked on by the U.S. as well. So they're working with MIT. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with that. How they're working on a digital currency for the United States. So that's a great point. If these countries and the nations come up with their own digital currency and are able to regulate it or do whatever they need to do to try to make it mainstream, man, that's going to be a risk as well. So just keep an eye on that. And great points, Ron.
Yep, I agree with both of you. With that said, let's get to our watch list for the day and see what everybody's looking at. Let's see here. I don't know. I just like to play music in the middle of these things. Anyway, so for me, I could talk about a couple of the reopening plays I'm looking at, but I'll keep it simple. I talked about TAL education. I'll stick in education. I'm also looking at Chegg, CHGG. I'd love to see them at 90, moving towards 95. I have a stop loss of 87. I'm just fairly bullish on a lot of our education plays, as we're going to see. I mean, part of what Biden's big tax bill is it has a huge, the Recovery Act is going to fund schools. And reopening schools and having everybody wants their kids to be in school. I think that people see that as a sign of a healthy recovery from what we've been looking at for the past year and change at this point. So I think that the education plays as a reopen play fits both in the public and private sector, and I'm enjoying that. And then on like the earnings side, Futu, which I've been super bullish on, people call it the Robinhood of China. You can use it. You can use their broker trading app in America. I actually really like it. It's kind of just like Webull, another Chinese company. And I'm just really into this. I think there's some potential here for us to take a run. I'd like to see them at 160, moving towards 165 for a price target, and my stop loss is at 157. What are you guys looking at for the day? Ness, what are you looking at, you secret sniper?
Okay, so first of all, I'm kind of like disgusted because I've been looking at Beam for a while and like I guess waiting for a pullback, which I don't think is ever happening. But I started looking at it, I think around $30, and this morning I looked, it's at 50. So it's close to it's not close to all-time highs, but I honestly might jump in just because I've been watching it and I feel like it keeps going up every time I say, oh, I'll jump in when a pullback happens. It doesn't. So right now it's trading at $50. I think there's a price target out there somewhere of $90. And what does Beam do? They are a competitor to Blink Charging, but people say that it's more cost efficient. And it's just more efficient in general. It doesn't require any setup. From my understanding, they're just dropping these little solar power thing. They can drop it anywhere. And there's zero utility cost. There's no installation, and it takes minutes to set up. So they think that it's going to be a good thing. And based on the way that it's been running the last 2 weeks, probably. And then the other stock that I'm looking at, which is also close to its all-time high. So these are kind of risky to jump into. Y'all should just do your own research and kind of figure it out. But it's VC, it's VICI, and that's a reopen. So Beam's a like infrastructure play because of the Biden deal, but VC would be a reopening play because they own like 60,000 hotels, some gaming facilities. They own the property across the street from Caesars. So I'm looking at that, and it's at an all-time high. So I'm gonna see if it pulls back a little bit, but if not, I might jump in. And once again, it's super risky. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at, guys.
Liv, the big hitter. What are you looking at for the day, man?
Quite frankly, just Bitcoin and then Disney. And I'm calling it a conservative Monday for me.
Christopher.
I'm watching EBON. I'm already in it. For a few different reasons. I mean, it's a Bitcoin miner. They haven't launched a business around it yet. They do have a platform. But something that just popped up on my scanner, and I'm checking into it now. It's down a lot significantly, but it just has 100% changed on positive volume. So NSLP, I'll update you guys in the Discord when I dig into it.
All right, y'all. For the most part, when we do these, I'd love to hear your price targets and your stop losses and your entries. So if you guys have that, I'd love to hear it. And if not, keep it short. Moving on. Shivam, what are you looking at for the day, man?
So along with Nanex, I'm definitely and NNGM, I'm definitely looking to one of the plays that has been hurting me the only play which has been hurting me for the last 2 weeks. Lamb Research. Lamb Research, I'm waiting either it goes up and 556 is what I'm looking for. If 556 comes through, I'd be very happy on Lamb Research. I'll be the happiest person on Lamb Research. It's still a long way to go, 33 points almost, but Lamb Research is well capable of doing it. However, if Lamb Research, which is technically the mothership of freaking all semiconductor industry because it has the biggest of the contracts available, including Samsung, if Lamb Research goes below 515, that is a warning sign for me. It was a warning sign before for me when S&P went to 378 mark. It's going to be a warning sign for me again. Right now it's 523, which is very close to 518, 515, and way far from 556. However, if I go more towards 556, I'll be happy with Lamb Research.
Loving that. Daniel, you have anything you're looking at for the day?
I'm with Chris. I'm watching EBON. I don't have a position yet, as well as SOS. PLTR, I feel like is still a steal under $30. I feel like it's not gonna stay under 30 for very long, but we'll see. I'm not gonna play too much today, I don't think.
You have any entries that you'd like to see on EBON or SOS?
I liked SOS when I saw the dip this morning at 680 and I didn't pull the trigger. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it dips again a little bit, but we'll see. I feel like it's just going up right now, so.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of what it is, where it's like, we call out tickers and stuff and things are going up and it's like, this is how you start a FOMO trade. Oh, I'm looking at it. I'm so excited about it. Bitcoin's to the moon, you guys. Where do I get into this thing? And then you end up buying Mara at all-time high and watching it drop for the rest of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel that's why I want to hear price targets for everything. It keeps us honest, and hopefully it keeps people away from FOMO. Some people, when I ask them for their price targets, it's always something that's like 20% below the ask price right now, and it's like, I understand. If you get it at that price, you will get a deal. Sorry, moving on. Kit, do you have anything you're looking at for the day? Going once, going twice. Alec, good morning, man. Are we trading Lucid all day today? What's going
Good
on?
morning. Good morning. No, I was going to speak up with Spy and say, hey, I know we normally disagree on Lucid, but I totally agree with your Spy take. But my son was going a little wild, but wanted to say I definitely agree with your Spy take today for sure. I'm kind of playing it a little conservative today as well. I really do like SPCE, Virgin Galactic at this price. So anywhere for an entry in 33 to 34 would be great. 34 to 35. I'm going to keep a pretty tight stop loss in the 33 range. But I think it can go back up to 55 is my target. So that's really the only thing I'm looking at. I don't hate fuel cells chart right now either, but I don't know. I'm playing it pretty conservative today.
I love that. AR, what are you looking at for the day, man?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Kodak. KO.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
KO. Yeah, right. It looks pretty good. KO DK. Why the reaction?
It's Kodak. They were a company that was going out of business till they got the most epic Trump pump of all time, and now all of a sudden they make something that's going to be involved in a vaccine. I think it's just like a super pump stock.
Right, and what ends up happening as well is that they're also looking into NFTs. So
Of course they are.
yeah. So yeah, again, a momentum play. My current support around 943. I'm hoping that'll hold. And with the MACD cross on the daily now, with the histogram beginning to rise, my levels are, my target is 1152. And I really want to see if price is going to pass through 1005 as well as 1060. So yeah, $1.50 on that move there. Let's see if we can break over 1050. That'd be really, really good.
Hey, that's what technical trading's all about, man. We can trade anything. So I'm with you, AR. It definitely might have the volatility and the volume. Kristen, anything you're looking at for your watch list today?
So I'm watching FSLY. It's looking like on the daily.
I love trading Fastly.
Yeah, I want it over 76. It's sitting right at 75.16. It's up a little bit in pre-market. I'm looking for it to go back up to and fill the gap over 100. I think that's what 118. Is that where it is? Where's this gap
Yeah,
at?
it was
Somewhere
trading.
around there.
Yeah, it's way up there. We've got a lot of room to run on Fastly.
Yeah, so I am in it, but just watching it to potentially add to my position once it breaks over this little bit of resistance I see here at 76.
Love that. Thank you. Dana, good morning. Anything that's on your watch list for today?
Hi, morning. ET, like I mentioned, my entry is gonna be 8:30. Ford entry is gonna be 12:40. And American Airlines, I'm gonna watch that. I'm not really 100% sure on my entry for that, so I gotta watch that some more and kind of figure that one out.
Awesome. Thank you, Dana. Reverend, good morning, man. What's on your watch list for today? Yo, Rev. Going once, going twice. Okay. Santino, good morning, sir. What's on your watch list for today?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm watching BABA right now. Alibaba, BABA, ticker symbol.
I'm into e-commerce. Let's go.
And I'm looking for an entry at around 221. And I'm gonna buy a leap, and I'm gonna ride that thing back up with earnings coming soon. I'm gonna take the bumps and bruises of the market because I think we're gonna get some. Especially, I'm expecting a earnings pullback in the entire market. That may be where we see the S&P come down a little bit, even if it does make a new high, another high if it breaks past the 395. So I like BABA. Like I said, I don't have no set target, but I like it to get back to around the 300 area within the time of that lead. I'm gonna get a 2-year just to be safe. I'm not going to get a 1 year, and to ward off some of that theta and some of those bumps and bruises I may take. And that's what I'm looking at today.
No, I love that. I think I've been wanting to do kind of a deep dive on a lot of our e-commerce plays and talk about the fundamentals on them in terms of debt, in terms of revenue, in terms of EBITDA, and really do a solid comparison. I think that there's some real value to be gained there, just really being able to compare these companies. And also maybe talking about, like, a lot of people are a little bearish on China. And how our relations are going to be moving forward. So I'm really interested in seeing how that progresses as well. But thank you so much, everybody. You know, you guys make this happen. It's not just me. We're a community, and I love and appreciate all of you. So with that said, we normally do some affirmations to get us started into our trading day, and I'm going to start that off. I want to start off with gratitude and giving thanks. I'm thankful for this community. I'm thankful for the people on stage, and I'm thankful for the people in the audience who come every single day. I'm thankful for health. I'm grateful for this opportunity to be in the market. I'm grateful for my account, which is the ticket to the show. I will always protect my principal. I will never trade based on fear. Every time I enter a trade will be the right time. I will trade to a plan. I'll wait for confirmation. The spirit of every successful trader and investor runs through me as I trade. I'm happy to be in the market today and grateful for the opportunity to make generational wealth for not only myself, but the people around me. Everybody, I hope you have a great green day. I hope you use proper risk management. We never FOMO here at Stockhouse. We'll be doing an aftermarket show on Tuesday. And we'll have a huge due diligence day. Me, Shivam, Chris, whoever else wants to participate. We've been talking about it on Twitter. So look forward to that on Thursday. All right, you guys.
A great day.
Hey guys, real quick before you go, we do want to make sure that the people that are following the club, make sure you tap the greenhouse twice. So that way you can join the club and not just be following us. Anyway, this is Stockhouse U, and we're out.